Yo, what's up, everyone? This is your boy, Tim Brown, and I'm talking about is demand down in the home services space? Really excited to chat with you guys about this one. I'm bringing stats, I'm not bringing opinions, and I'm going to share with you a bunch of stuff that's going on now and if I can be of service to you, whether that by creating a little bit of like solidarity with you. There's some things going on in the home service market that are difficult, or if you want to participate by commenting and sharing your opinion, it would make it a lot more fun. And I'll pull up your comments on here if if you participate and if you have a perspective that you'd like to share. Certainly, I think it is way more fun when more people interact with these types of things. So just giving you that as an option. I'm going to get right into these statistics here. I think some of the ones I think about the most are the average credit card debt of homeowners or people in America. Average American carried about $7,209 in credit card debt, up from $6,740 in early 2023. Credit card debt nationwide reached a record high of 1.14 trillion. It essentially shows you how much the average person, the average homeowner is relying on credit card debt. Cash on hand for the average Americans, many households have less than $1,000 in savings, which is contributing to that credit for emergency spending. And that would totally relate to things like buying an HVAC unit and a roof. Over 55% of Americans would need to rely on credit cards in the event of a financial emergency. That's over 55%. Consumer confidence. I think that this one is the one I think about the most right now. Consumer confidence. In early 2024, the U.S. Consumer Confidence Index fell slightly to 103, reflecting reduced optimism about economic conditions amid inflation and rising interest rates. It suggests that many consumers are cautious about making large purchases right now, which is affecting spending habits. If you haven't, tell me, comment below if you've seen that at all in the way people are buying right now. How are people buying differently when consumer confidence is low? What spurred on this topic, the idea of this is I just saw Beacon Roofing Supply laid off about 8% of its staff. Some major distributors report an average of 6.5% drop in Q3 2023 earnings year over year. And the home improvement spending is projected to decline by 4.8%, according to Harvard JCHS. Now, that one's an interesting one because that's not that crazy. If it's only down 4.8%, I don't feel like that is that crazy, but it's kind of like, when was this stat given? I think that what we see, I think is important to note, is that we're in a surge. Home services, roofing, HVAC was experiencing a massive surge this last few years. And then when you come down off a surge, and so I've heard statistics as high as 20% down on shipped HVAC units and things like that. 20% down. When you come down off a surge, it hurts. It hurts, especially because a lot of people were staffing up and things like that. Now, this could be seen as a positive one. And I want to share a few positive ones. Home sales are down 15%, but that could be positive if you're not in new construction, because even with economic pressures, if you're not buying a new house, you might invest in your current house. I've talked about this on a previous live. But 30% of homeowners, this is an old stat from 2023, is saying 30% of homeowners plan to take on more projects in 2024, according to Kitchen and Bath Business. There is opportunity in things like, I know that you guys know on the HVAC side that there's certain things that like heat pumps that are there's more and more of them. There's people buying those more often. There are some products that are surging within this lower demand compared to 2 years ago, 5 years ago. And then, it really is going to matter, like, are there going to be tax credits for these things that continue? And another positive of the economic situation statistics. I'm sticking to statistics because I don't have a home service business. So I'm trying to share only real data. And then I would love it if you guys chime in if you want. But there's job growth, obviously, in the home services sector. And when we look at these macro trends for the next 10 years, it's up a lot. There's a lot. Like, for instance, the Research and Markets projects that between 2021 and 2028, that the demand for home services is expected to grow 49.4%. As evidence, think about all this private equity coming in. What are they expecting? Why do you think that all these private equity companies are dumb? Don't answer that. No, the macro trend is good. The macro trend is good. The micro trend, the year coming down off this high of COVID-related home service spending, it hurts. It hurts when you come down off of a high. But it's not as dramatic as sometimes it might feel because of the apprehension with homeowners, the way it's changing, the way people are purchasing when they're a little tighter with their wallet. One more positive before I get into anything else. It's really the niching thing, the specifics, smart home technology. It's really the fact that more private equity has come in, allowing us to, home service businesses, home service industry to grow in different ways. And so those are positives, I'd say. But a lot of these things aren't that positive. If I look at the statistics, home equity lending is down by 9% year over year. That consumer confidence index dropping to 103 in October last year. It was up to 110 at the beginning of that last year. Interest rates for home improvement loans are over 8%, up from 5.5% in 2022. So if they're trying to use credit, it's tough. We had the warmest winter in the U.S. in 2023. The second warmest winter, excuse me. Building material prices have stabilized, but sales remain lower than expected. So this is just a few quick stats. Man, there's a lot of things in here. I'm looking at all these stats. I'm trying to bring the most relevant ones to you. According to Asphalt Roofing Manufacturers Association, or ARMA, shipments of asphalt roofing products in the U.S. saw a slight decline in the second quarter of 2024 compared to the previous year. This aligns with the broader trends of reduced new construction and renovation projects. I think the other part for roofing is just looking at the fact that there's been a little less storm activity from what I understand previous years. So I think when I was talking to somebody from Beacon, that was kind of the main thought, is like, if there's not storms and there's a big storms years before, then it's going to be a little different. It's going to affect large trends for the year. There are always opportunities in these times. I wanted to bring some stats to kind of talk about that lower demand and be realistic. It is a real thing, both in HVAC and roofing, that demand is down. Now, is it as dramatic as it sometimes feels? Because consumer confidence is low. It may not be as dramatic as it feels because consumer confidence is low. On the other hand, the positive side is this underlying economic trend, the positive up to, what was the stat about home service demand from 2022 to 28 is expected to be up almost 50%. So couched on a big positive, like down year and a big positive potentially. And I know that there's exceptions to these things. There's companies that have doubled. There's companies whose leads are up. There's companies where there's really positive things going on because they're growing, and but growing in a time where overall demand is down a little bit. It's real. We have to recognize that the statistics all point to that being somewhat, hard to get away from. Interesting nonetheless. I like to bring trends to you. That's what this show is about. And I'm happy to chat with you guys about this. Send me a message, comment if you want. And otherwise, you know what Hook Agency is up to. It's a home services marketing company that helps you get more leads with custom websites, consistent SEO, and transparent Google ads. And we really care about this, these industries, HVAC, plumbing, roofing. We're incredibly grateful to serve a lot of home service businesses. And I also want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone. We just went over 150 5-star reviews on Google, and that's huge for us as a small family-owned business, competing with huge companies that are 5 times, 10 times our size. So we're grateful for that. So thank you for putting us over 150 5-star reviews. Reach out if you'd like at hookagency.com, or if you want to set up a call, it's hookagency.com/call. It's a 20-minute intro call, and we'll see if it's a good fit. Otherwise, appreciate y'all. Thank you guys for being on, and I'll see you next time on the Home Services Trend Spotting Show.